Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church in Columbia, South Carolina, where we're part of the ELCA. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. I have never been a fan of the song From a Distance by Bette Midler. Oh, the tune is pleasant and singable, but the words disturb me. Here are a few of the verses. From a distance the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope, it's the voice of peace, it's the voice of every man. From a distance we all have enough, and no one is in need. And there are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. The song speaks of a beautiful world, a perfect world where everything is wonderful. Between each verse comes the chorus. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. The implication is that God is far removed from us and doesn't see the struggles, those in need, or wars, or illness, or hunger. And I don't believe that. I don't believe in a God who is so far removed and unconcerned about the plight of God's children. I think what the cross teaches us is that God has come near, especially in our woundedness, that God is most near in our troubles and difficulties. In my opinion, the song is just wrong and harmful. As we gather for our time each morning this week, I'm indulging in my favorite kind of Pastor Gary Live episodes. I love to speak about little-known Bible characters or obscure stories that you've probably never noticed or even heard before. Often these stories have important meaning, and that's what I hope to show you this week. Today we start with an odd story from 2 Kings about a floating axe head. In 2 Kings we find this odd little story. Now the company of prophets said to Elisha, "As you see, the place where we live under your charge is too small for us. Let us go to the Jordan, and let us collect logs there, one for each of us, and build a place there for us to live." He answered, "Do so." Then one of them said, "Please come with your servants." And he answered, "I will." So he went with them. When they came to the Jordan, they cut down trees. But as one was felling a log, his axe head fell into the water. He cried out, "Alas, master, it was borrowed." Then the man of God said, "Where did it fall?" When he showed him the place, he cut off a stick and threw it in there and made the iron float. He said, "Pick it up." So he reached out his hand and took it. So we have this odd little story of Elisha and a borrowed iron axe head that floats. It's one of the miracles that Elisha does, among others, but we might wonder about the significance of this odd little story. Well, I think the primary significance goes back to how I dislike that song From a Distance. One of the important things this little story tells us is that God is not removed far away from us, but rather is involved in the everyday, mundane things of our lives. One of the prophets had borrowed the axe and needed to return it. Iron was a valuable commodity in those days, and the axe couldn't easily be replaced by running to Lowe's or Home Depot. The prophet had borrowed it and was responsible for it. Alas, indeed. So the next thing we need to note is that the prophet immediately took his problem to Elisha, which is to say, he took his problem to God. Elisha wasn't God, but he was the person closest to God that this prophet knew. Maybe there's a subtle reminder there that we should turn to God with our cares and concerns more quickly than we do. And then we notice that God acted through Elisha and caused the axe head to float. It seems like such a small miracle, but then not really when you think about it. When have you seen iron like this float? It's astounding, and it solved the problem the individual prophet had. It's an everyday, mundane problem, but God acted in their lives there and then. Elisha threw in the stick, but God made the axe head float. God wasn't far removed away from daily problems and concerns. God's love for God's children is all-encompassing. God acts to save in big and small ways. Even in the mundane, there are miracles. This is a pretty obscure story, but actually an important one. God is not far removed. Instead, God is near to us, and God cares even for our smallest concerns. God's love for us is so big that we are invited to take all our cares to God. The floating axe head invites us to know that God is not watching us from a distance, but close with us. This God cares for you. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.